Hello, welcome to Bua Community Voice, the program sports preview where we are talking about everything football. In fact, one interesting thing is that MaxBet are the proud sponsors of the program. MaxBet is that betting platform that offers you the opportunity to win big every other day. Yes, because every day is a payday of MaxBet. Let me also remind you that there is a 100% bonus up for grabs at MaxBet and 300 naira just for registering on MaxBet. So you cannot afford to sleep on this one. What are we talking about? The English Premier League. Of course, a brand new season is upon us. On the last episode, we talked about the games coming through for Saturday. And today, the attention is turning swiftly to the games that will be coming for Sunday. Yes, Sunday I've got interesting games also because we'll be, having something very wonderful where Chelsea will play host to the Community Shield champions. I'm talking about Crystal Palace. Yes, of course, Palace put up a very fine showing when they faced off Liverpool in the curtain raiser of the season. And so going up against Chelsea is making it look very, very different for a lot of fans. Also, we'll talk about Nottingham Forest who play host to Brentford, the Bees. And then the star match of the weekend is where Manchester United, a rejuvenated team where the coach Juvenal Amorim is saying, look, we are a different side from last season, is going to knock horns with Mikel Arteta's Arsenal with a striker, Victor Gyökeres. They've lacked a striker in recent times, but now this season, they will play with what looks like a complete team trying to vie for the Premier League title that they missed out on 3 solid occasions, finishing behind the champions. But let's look at what we will be getting because to wrap up with all of these 3 games for Sunday, my name is OG of LW, and of course, I won't be talking about this alone. I am flanked with the one and only CI Zoro. That is to my right, and to my left, I have the man Podolski, who will be, of course, aiding up with those analysis today. So all you need to do is to make sure that you watch the very end because I told you that I'll be giving out those MaxBet odds. Yes, you heard me right. And there's a chance to start winning just even with registration bonus of 300 naira. And remember that there's a 100% bonus on your first deposit. That is if the money is 100,000 naira and below. So if I'm you, I'll be utilizing all 100,000 naira to get 200,000 naira to start betting. Remember that betting in Nigeria is for 18 years and above. And remember to bet responsibly. I'll go on a break. Coming back, you will see the 3 beautiful faces to talk about this. Welcome back. It's still Bua Community Voice, the program sports preview proudly sponsored by MaxBet. A platform with a 100% bonus on your very first deposit of any money below 100,000 naira, and that is interesting. I also told you that there's a 300 naira off for grabs just for registering on MaxBet, so you cannot afford to miss out. And to start up on the Premier League games for Sunday here on the Sports Preview by MaxBet, it will be interesting enough to introduce the first team that we're talking about here. But before I do that, let me reintroduce the trio that will be running these for you today. I told you that by my right is the man CI Zoro. CI Zoro, good to have you again. And of course, the man who comes in and goes out. I'm talking about the one and only Podolski. Podolski, good to have you here. Yeah, behind the away from the camera, Podolski was telling me about a Rachel who somersaulted the Chanegos after they were whitewashed 4 goals to go to the hands of Sudan. In fact, that will be a talk for another day because a lot of persons felt like the selection was poor and hence the reason for the outcome. But that will sit on the side. Let's talk about the world champions. Can I call Chelsea the world champions?
For now.
Some persons say Chelsea should be addressed as the Club World Cup champions. The Club World Cup does not say world champion. Right? I think it's world champion because they won the Club World Cup, which was a club event for the whole world. So let's say FIFA World.
Look, for now, that's my own. But then,
Yes.
for now, still gives them an opportunity to be referred as the world champion. Please say the world champion.
World champion.
Chelsea world champions.
We're good.
Okay, Chelsea as world champions. Let me tell you that the FIFA Club World Cup champions, I'm talking about Chelsea, and they opened their 2025-2026 Premier League campaign in a London derby. That will be against the FA Cup holders and holders of the Community Shield, Crystal Palace, who finished 16 points behind the Blues last season. It's good to also point that out. And in a game like this, we always know what London derbies can offer. We know what Crystal Palace as a side can do under Oliver Glasner. We also can tell what they are beginning to do. The Berechiese and the likes taken to Palace are yet, delivering a week in, week out last season, and we are expecting to see Chelsea's looking like a different side, especially from what we saw during the Club World Cup, and of course in the friendlies, even trashing the likes of AC Milan during the preseason tour tells you a full story of what Enzo Maresca's did at the Stamford Bridge. But what are we to expect? Chelsea really didn't fare so well at the Stamford Bridge last season, but I think a fresh start, a new season offers just a new opportunity for every other team to start writing a new page for themselves.
Yeah, with the beginning of the start of this season now, we're looking at two Chelsea to bring their hopes and dreams. Like winning the Premier League this time around. I think the last time they did it was 2016, 2017.
That's far away.
Yes. So this time around, with few people regarding them as world champion.
I don't like these things.
Great.
No.
Okay,
So you have to retrace.
Okay.
let us still
As
Club World Cup.
Okay, as club world champion right now,
But
we are expecting them to repeat what they did in the Premier League. Now, if you look at Chelsea now, I saw what they did in pre-season. But we should look into this upcoming game now against Crystal Palace. Don't take Crystal Palace for granted. You see what they did to Liverpool, the league champions, and see what they did to City. So you playing them, every team should be careful with them. Well, I love their game against Liverpool. Even me, I was shocked. Salah throwing goal to the next compound. But now facing them now, most of the Chelsea players will say that maybe they may be facing fatigue right now.
Yeah, no doubt, because of course they had a very, very fixture-packed season last season. Playing on Thursday, playing in the league, and then the Club World Cup to sum it all up before the tour, a pre-season tour that we saw.
No, even during the pre-season tour, I was looking at Chelsea and saying, can they still repeat that? It was most of the players, even Pedro, that was on holiday, you have to just watch back to join the team. And they are delivering. But I will look at this game, I just that Chelsea meeting Crystal Palace, it will be long that Crystal Palace have won Chelsea. The last time Crystal Palace won Chelsea was 2017. And this is a game for Chelsea to win. If you check their last meetings, I think Chelsea have won most of the game. Just not talking about the last season. The last season, the game ended in 1-1 draw. Both 2 times they met. But if you check most of their encounters, Chelsea have, let's say their last 18 or 17 encounters, Chelsea have won 14 and drawn 2. So it speaks a high volume of them.
What Chelsea can do.
Yes. Yeah, so and if you check, Chelsea hardly lose when they are starting a Premier League. They are very, very reliable. If you are starting a Premier League as the first game, they are very, very reliable to win.
Okay, let's get to hear what CI will think about a game like this. Especially, it's really important to also mention that Palace as a side, they've had an outfield issues that demoted them from the Europa League now to play in the Conference League. I know they are not so much a happy side because they would have loved to play the Europa League. But then a lot of persons are saying, do you like Chelsea? Go there and win it. Because we know that a lot of teams in the Conference League are not so strong. But that would be a topic for another day. Let's talk about Crystal Palace against Chelsea and stuff.
It's another beautiful season, 2025-2026 season. Do you like Chelsea? Let me answer that. It's not easy to do like Chelsea, but then Chelsea has, this charisma that comes with them. I'm not trying to overhype the whole situation, but for folks like them that are on the red side, they wouldn't understand the whole thing. But then let's get into the talk proper. Crystal Palace has shown tremendous strides, winning Liverpool, bringing so many things and then improving. They're not decided to neglect. And but let's get to the head-to-heads. Chelsea has won Crystal Palace on their head-to-heads at the London Derby, and they've won 14 straight times, right? And inside the 14 straight times, they've drawn 2 times. Do you understand? So this is me saying that Chelsea is history-wise on top of Crystal Palace morning, afternoon, night. But that is not to overlook Crystal Palace anyway. Now, having that London derby to talk about, Crystal Palace on the other hand, not be small team because on their own hand they've been able to away from Chelsea their own London derbies. They've been able to win 25 times on different London derbies, and then of course drawn 35 times, and then of course lose 75
Yeah,
times.
no doubt about that because there are a lot of strong teams in London. You can also talk about the likes of Arsenal, Spurs, and Chelsea, and then it's an incredible one.
Now, after 2017, just like you rightfully pointed out, Chelsea has not lost to Crystal Palace to date. 2017 to right now is how many years? Good. Now, this is to say that as much as it's a new season, Chelsea has this fatigue with every player being active from the Club World Cup to a few matches played during the pre-season that just went in, and then now the season proper. Chelsea is going to be having some issues here and there, but Chelsea planned this season in such a way that there's always a replacement for every other person.
I think so. Yeah. I think I'm going to go with that. So
There's
Chelsea.
a Felix, there's a Delap, there's a
No, I think I'm going to go with it. Chelsea. I think even if you are playing a left wing, there's other 2 people waiting for you. So when the fatigue sets in, other people will take over. Just like if you check 2024-2025 season, you check what Kopama did, scoring 15 goals for them. So I think this is one of the players we have to watch this season. Apart from that 15 goals he scored last season in the Premier League, you saw what he did at the final of the Club World Cup.
You're calling Palmer. You're calling Palmer. Let's get to Joe Felix. Now he has featured for Chelsea 4 times and he has scored 4 times.
Yes, that's what he's paid for. What about Ebere Chieze?
Yeah,
The guy that gave them the FA Cup.
he's been playing,
He's
scoring the Soul Palace
he's
historic FA Cup win. But let's also talk about Palace, who've scored in 13 of their last 4. Scoring in 13 of their last 15 Premier League away games. Winning 7, drawing 6, and losing 2 tells you about how good they are on the road. So I'm still expecting them, to come through with some very, very amazing game. But of course, we'll see what happens when we get to the Match Show Back Up segment where you've all been waiting for. We'll be analyzing what possible outcome that we expect to see in a game like this one. Let's just move straight up to talk about the match of the day. I'm talking about the match of the weekend, even Manchester United up against Arsenal. We know how it's going to be a very, very strong one of the Premier League greatest rivalries. It's one of the strongest. The first weekend of the new season is coming when Arsenal have to play at the Old Trafford. And I think if Arsenal wants to win the league this season, they need to start at the get-go like they always do. Make sure that they stay top of the log up until January to start saying, look, we are ready for this season. But then a rejuvenated Manchester United will turn up to be a stumbling block anytime in the day. Let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, when I look at that game, I'll tell Arsenal fans before people were complaining there's no striker. But now I think you have a striker.
I don't think there should be any excuses.
Yes, I don't think there should be any excuse. You have been finishing second for like 2 decades now. You have been finishing second. So you should be able to step up your game and get the lead. You have been a while that Arsenal won the league.
So when you say a while, it's disrespectful. It's been years.
Sorry.
The last time Arsenal won the league, I was a boy. I can remember very well, 2003. That's such a long time. And it was after that season Claudio Ranieri was at Chelsea, finished second behind Arsenal that season, and then came Mourinho. And let me even tell you, Ranieri in 2015 won the league with Leicester, and Arsenal are still yet to win another league ever since. And then we were talking about how far it's been for Chelsea 2017. And that tells you about how these years can accumulate. Chelsea's getting there where it's been a while. Let's not talk about United also, who won it last when Sir Alex Ferguson was manager. You know, so the Premier League dynamics keeps changing. We're in an era where it's Manchester City or it's Liverpool. But we are waiting if we can have maybe a new champion this season.
Yeah, I think even you come to even in the last season where both of them met, Arsenal have the upper hand. Where they are head to head last season, Man U won one, draw one, and lost one. And the draw came at Old Trafford. So if you look at Manchester United have won all their opening games. For the 19th times, all their opening games, they have won it. So if they win this one, it will be a great plus to them. I think they have succeeded in acquiring some new players, both Brian, the ones coming from Brentford. We are happy that yes, a new intake and the game. And one of the players you have to look at is Bruno. Bruno, I think the last time they met, Bruno scored it a free kick. So then coming into this game, I expect Manchester United to get the points. The Gunners
over Arsenal.
Yes, to get the point over Arsenal. I'll give it to United anything.
I feel bad that one feature is not here.
Manchester United has won their first game of the Premier League season more often than any other team in the Premier League. There's about 22 of them you get. Now, away from Manchester United, we have Arsenal, who has equally maintained just one clean sheet. In their final 7 games, I beg your pardon, they've got 2 draws, 2 wins, and then about 3 losses. That's for Arsenal. Now, why am I breaking this down? Arsenal has been unbeaten in their 14 away games. That's quite impressive, But personally, from me to you, I think Arsenal might not be able to maintain that against Manchester United. Well, Bonfrey would have said otherwise, but then I feel Arsenal has this disadvantage of first day matches in the Premier League. I feel personally, I stand to be corrected by folks like Bonfrey, but then I feel like Arsenal does not have that. Let me use the street word, agleman, to hold down a strong
at Old Trafford.
Yes, at Old Trafford, a strong Manchester United with their 32-year-old, I beg your pardon, 22-year-old signing, that looks 32. I don't want to go into that. But then, Arsenal might not be able to hold on Manchester United.
Arsenal cannot be able to hold on Manchester
But let me not make fun about it. Let me ask you, how old is that your signing?
He told you his age now. Forget, we have our football age, so let's go with that.
And you answered my question.
Well, in all of the arguments, the big game is the big game. I'm talking about United hosting Arsenal. It's really important to also note that Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes will be one of the key players to watch. And of course, we all know that Victor Gyokeres, who will be hoping that he'll be a part of Arsenal's 100 top flight campaign this season. We'll be hoping to see what happens in a game of this magnitude, because you cannot separate these two sides. They've got a lot in common, and I feel this is the season that United will want to play at the capacity where they really think that they belong. But just before we wrap it all up, a little to talk about Nuno Espirito Santos, Nottingham Forest, when they take on Brentford the Bees. Of course, going up from their highlights, their highest top flight finish that they had since 94-95 season, UEFA Europa League newcomers. Remember, they were the ones now going to play the Europa League since Crystal Palace couldn't, because of the affiliation of their owner with Olympique Lyonnais in France. And they will start up against a new league Brentford, who will be managed by Keith Andrews for the first time. It's looking like Forest should continue from where they dropped off last season, because from the body language of the owner last season, he's not going to take anything less than challenging for the title, or better still, finishing with any of those UEFA Champions League places that they went for last season.
And they continue from where they stopped last season. If you notice, there are some players that are out there. Anthony Elanga is in Newcastle United presently. So if you, as a good manager, what you should do is that when you remove somebody, you should get somebody to replace him.
A lot of people are saying that the money they will get to play in the Europa League, an extra £20 million, could be enough to beef up this side, because we all already know that they couldn't get a win in the preseason. Drawing 5 and losing 2, and selling a couple of key players, like you pointed out, and one of those is keeping the team in a situation where they are in their lowest.
The same thing with the pro teams. Brentford, we are seeing what they are doing, what they do. Selling player to Real Madrid, selling another one to Manchester United. What is wrong? Like, even me, Brentford is one of the teams I'm looking to go relegation.
And of course, you need to think about their coach also.
Their coach moving to Tottenham. So I'm looking at Brentford, one of the teams that will go on relegation this season. If they are not serious, because I've seen the way they just, like, how can you try your best to sustain in the Premier League, then still start selling players? What do you want to do? For this match, I will not believe that Nottingham Forest should bring out their own game. Again, not looking at what they did in pre-season. Their pre-season is not good. There's nothing to talk home about. So I just believe that they should settle down, get their game, and be able to sustain themselves in the Premier League and the European League this time around, because this time around they have a lot of competition to play.
That brings me to what my worries. The team that is depleted, not having enough players, when you play the Europa League every other Thursday, that puts you at much risk. Play on Thursday, come back to play the league on a Sunday, and the cycle continues up until the end of the season. When you look at it that way, it comes to mind that they might really struggle. But we don't know. He finds a way to do it even in the hardest, because I didn't even see it coming. What he done last season, we'll just keep watching.
Yeah, we'll keep watching, but not take it away from Brentford. Remember that last season, Brentford have the best away record.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, Brentford. But you have to know that they sold most of their players. Because
even with selling most of their players, I feel they have, to an extent, an organized backup. What I would call an organized backup, because their last 7 competitive matches has been 4 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss. And then I think is for somebody who really wants to be in a competition, one way or the other. It's not going to be an easy workout for Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest pulled a stunt a lot of. I think I talked about it yesterday. They pulled a stunt a lot of persons. They maintained the 3rd position up until the last minute in the they were hopeful for the Champions League. It was something they really thought everybody was wondering.
But I ask again, if they were hoping for the Champions League and the management, why let all these players go? Because these are the big questions.
Yeah.
But then you don't know whereabouts for managers. They might have some very good plan. Maybe when the season starts, they will still beat some stars. Teams will come after. But Visa will not be a part of this team. I'm talking about the Congolese because of the coach's decision. We are yet to know what exactly will be the outcome of their decision about the transfer for the Congolese coming up later. But just before we go, let's get into the place that you know is the MaxBet Show Bangamet segment. Yes, that platform will talk about all of the best odds and all of the predictions of what the results can be. We'll obviously start with the star game of the weekend. United up against Arsenal. Let's get what your predictions are.
I think it is a United win.
United to win at Old Trafford.
To be on the safer side, I will also say it over 1.5.
Over 1.5 is so safe. And I think they ought to be very small about who gets to win. But I think the match will be an over 2.5 in my own opinion, seeing a minimum of 3 goals to come through from a fixture like that. Let's talk about another one where Crystal Palace will take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Crystal,
both teams to score.
Is that what team?
Both teams
to score is your prediction. Let's get your
It's a Chelsea win, but
Chelsea straight win and both teams to score. That's an amazing one. The odds are going to be high. Chelsea to win and BTS. We'll see what happens there. That takes me straight up now to another game, and that's the game between Forest and Brentford.
I just see it's over 2.5.
Over 2.5.
Yeah.
What's your pick?
I think it's a 1.5.
Over 1.5. Okay, I feel like Brentford will be good to take on a double chance. That's Brentford to win or draw. That is my own prediction. But of course, you can just log on to www.maxbet.ng, www.maxbet.ng to start winning. Yes, you can do just that and start winning big. Make sure that you log on to www.maxbet.ng and then you can start winning as big as you can. With the 300 naira just right there for your registration. If you've registered already, you can go for your first deposit of 100% bonus just for your first deposit. I told you that there is a cash out system, virtual games, live games. The site is so user friendly. You can stand a chance to win big, and we have been winning big, and we are so happy about it. So you can be a part of the winning team on Maxbet. That's much we can take, and we'll be expecting what outcomes it will be in some of these games that we've predicted. Because I promised the fans that we'll be coming in with super duper predictions that will be coming true. But that'll be all on this episode. Thank you very much, CI Zoro and Chief Podolski. It's an amazing time. So a very big thank you to Odise, who was behind the camera, and of course the rest of the cast and crew of Bua Community Voice. I will urge you to just go now, turn on that notification button, make sure that you subscribe, share the video so that someone can start winning big. Of course, there is a bonus for you there to get on Maxbet. So I suggest that just after this video, you can start registering. Remember, if you're below 18, Maxbet is not for you. Remember to bet responsibly and with your spare money. Terms and conditions apply. Adios.